Good day, Bushy, and welcome to Yosemite. Yosemite's granites cooled hundreds of millions of years ago underneath us. Tectonic movement meant it got pushed up to the surface. We see glaciers carving this valley out, melting away 10,000 years ago, leaving behind this incredible formation we now call Yosemite Valley. There are many places to see in Yosemite Valley. There's about 5 main ones that most of us go to, but in fact, out of 100% of the park, 99% of visitors spend only time in 1% of the park here in Yosemite Valley. That's where you'll see the famous El Capitan, the Half Dome, a majestic, ever-changing landscape, bushies. And here we have El Capitan, which the Free Fall documentary was filmed from. Welcome to the valley of Yosemite Valley, bushies. There's heaps to do in here. It's great. There's a shuttle bus you can catch to all the major sites. I definitely recommend a full day just exploring the valley. Yosemite Falls, 2,000 feet deep. It really is a village, bushies. There's even a post office. The info center is a great starting point. You can get meals, information center. It has everything you need. It's like a resort in a national park. But I also really recommend heading down to Mariposa, where you can see the amazing redwoods. Welcome, bushies, to my favorite park of Yosemite Park, here at Mariposa Grove, where the giant sequoias live. In fact, this was the first part of the park that was protected by Abraham Lincoln in 1860s. Giant sequoias are the biggest trees in the world by mass. The coastal redwoods grow taller, but as you can see, these are quite wide. Some of the trees in this park are between 1,500 to 2,000 years old. Bushies, the grizzly giant with a branch 2 meters thick in diameter, thicker than some of the trunks around us. Imagine Muir and Roosevelt camping underneath here, a night amongst the stars. It was so inspiring that in his presidency, Roosevelt then signed 228 parks into existence, inspired by the sequoias before you. Behind me are some baby sequoias. It takes a few centuries for them to even reach that amazing height of 76 to 91 meters tall. And once they've reached a good height, they start to really fill out, and that's where that growing keeps happening. 1150 to 1850. That's incredible. Sharing of water and nutrients is so important amongst these trees, and sometimes that's shared so closely at the roots that the trees actually fuse. This was named by a prominent writer called the Faithful Couple. Giant sequoias once covered so much more of this earth, but they really rely on watershed areas. That's where snow sort of melts slowly and feeds them. And it's quite a damp area. And as a result of climate change, we have more rain falling than snow. And that's really affecting where these trees naturally grow. And then at Hetchy Hetchy is where the dam is. Native American Indian people have lived in Yosemite Valley for 4,000 years before contact with European settlers in the 1850s. In 1960, the last Indian village was removed out of the park, but remnants of displays remain of what it would have been like. And behind me is the ceremonial roundhouse, a place for gathering religion and worship. And a main source of diet in this incredible valley was the acorns. And I also love the Tulamine Meadows, where John Muir had that campfire and decided this needs to be a national park for people of all time. Bushies, it's hard to imagine, but for 8 months of the year behind me, thick snow blankets this meadow. A subnivean layer forms between the snow and the ground, which is a layer of oxygen where our little marmots, our little pikas, our little squirrels all hibernate to get through that time, and where our coyotes tend to pounce and try to break through. John Muir first came to these meadows as a sheep herder back in the 1860s and fell in love with the place. In fact, when he was advocating to protect Yosemite, he would often bring his friends here first. No one knows why Soda Springs springs, but what we do know is maybe back then it was alright to pour yourself a cuppa, maybe not so much now with 4 million visitors coming through the park every year. Here we have a mule deer. There used to be a lot more in the valley. They come down to graze. We can see its antlers are furry because it's still full of blood and it's growing, and it only hardens near the mating season. This is the oldest bridge in the park, and you may be wondering why it's covered. Now the sign doesn't even explain why, but actually one of our great subscribers, thank you to Lauren Stevenson, explained they used to cover the bridges so horses wouldn't feel scared going across the river. They would think they were entering their barns or stables. That was really common practice in the horse and carriage times. But as long as you got my voice.